So in many suttas, we may see that Buddha encourages us to follow right speech, correct speech, together with other part of Noble Eightfold Path. But what is right speech? It's very interesting. And why it is important for us as a Buddha's disciples to follow right speech, to try to speak and also receive a speech properly, righteously. So, in Anguttara Nikaya, Sutta number 3.67, kathāvatthusuttaṃ, this sutta speak about the people who not fit to be talked to, and opposite, people with whom we need to speak more often. So, also we need to remember that if according to this sutta we find someone who speak not according to proper speech, it's not a reason to come to him and say, you don't speak according to Buddha's teaching, you are wrong, I'm right. So it would be opposite what Buddha's advise us. This sutta gives us a list, and this list we need to check firstly ourselves. Do we follow this? Do we follow right speech? And also when we choose our noble friends, because Buddha encouraged to associate with some kalyānamitta, with some good spiritual companions. And before choosing them, we need to associate with them a little bit, to be aware what behavior these people have, how they behave in speech, how they behave in body and mind. So, and then decide, okay, I would like to associate with this person more closely. Or even teacher. When I choose, there is several teachers, I may observe him first, what he doing in this situation, in that situation, how he behave, and only then I choose, I like to follow this teacher or like to follow another teacher. Yeah. So first Buddha speak about different types of question. So from the sutta we know that there is 4 kinds of questions, and one question what need to be answered directly. Another question what need to be answered analytically. We need to analyze the question. And third question it's what need to be answered in back question, something like this. Like someone asks you a question, you need to ask a question what do you mean exactly? And the last type of question, it's a question what need to be put aside. No need to be answered at all. So a commentary give examples, as usual. Commentary do examples of this kind of questions. So the direct question, it's a kind of question someone come to you and ask, is the I impermanent? And the direct answer need to be yes, the I is impermanent. The question what need to be it's a question is the impermanent the I? And the answer may be not only I, the impermanent, ear, nose, body, as well impermanent. And the example of the question would need to be with contra question in return. It's is the eye and ear the same nature? And you may ask the question in return, to what respect? What do you mean exactly? And if the person say in respect of hearing, you may say no, I cannot hear, only ear can hear, so they are different. But if the answer would be in respect of impermanence, you may say yes, the eye and ear both impermanent. So this type of question would need to be asked a contra question back. And the type of question would need to be put aside. It's a question is the soul and the body the same? And we need to put this kind of question aside and say that the Buddha didn't give an answer on this question. If Buddha was asked many times in sutta these kind of questions, he just put them aside. Because the Buddha's teaching, it's all about practice. It's all about our experience, what we may experience here and now. It's not about theory or some kind of philosophy, So it's a practical teaching. So, and come back to the people who not fit to speak or fit to speak. It's people who don't follow this kind of 4 types of question. If for one type of question what needs to be put aside, he give a direct question, for example, or he try to analyze this. Oh, like body is like this, and soul is like this, and like we may say like this. So we may see that this person not fit to be speak with, to be associated with. Another category of people, what the Buddha speak, it's the people who know what is their position or what is position of an opponent. So this group of people, it's more belonging to debates or open public question and answer. You know, in ancient India, maybe now as well, it's a very common practice when spiritual teachers or spiritual people, they openly have some discussion with a person from other religion or other sects, and they discuss some interesting and like maybe controversy points. And at least that time, it was very important to win this kind of debates, because a lot of examples, even in Sutta, we can see. If, like, for example, in Sutta, we can see Buddha, usually he wins all these kind of debates. And most of the disciples of the teacher, they just come and become a disciple of the Buddha. So that's why to win this kind of debates was very important for ancient India, as well maybe now. That's why people who cannot really win these debates in terms of Dhamma knowledge or in terms of understanding, they try to win this kind of debates by some tricks. Try to evade, try to like do some dirty things, you know, not really by the knowledge, but just some kind of tricks. So, and this kind of people, what in this sutta mentioned, it's related to that kind of debates. So one type, the person don't follow his position and don't follow opposite position. So it means, for example, I have one view, another person have another view. And in the speech, I feel that all my arguments was beaten. I cannot say anything else, okay, I'm beaten. But I don't want to admit it. I have a pride, yeah, like I don't want it. And I may change my position. I may say, oh yeah, I mean this actually. But like with the idea to not admit my fault, but with the idea to still be like equal or these kind of things. So again, nothing wrong in admitting my faults. If I feel, okay, my position, I have a wrong view, for example, and during the discussion, my view become pure or right. It's nothing wrong to admit it, to say, okay, thank you, it's a good food for reflection, now I will think about this. But another way to say, like, to do this kind of evasive things just out of winning the argument. So the Buddha encourages us to be honest when we discuss something. Another like category of people, it's someone who not follow his stratagem. So for example, again, in debates, by bodily gesture or by some signs, I may show that I want to ask a question, you know, like do something like some sign before asking a question or tell something, and other person feel it, he may say, okay, please speak whatever you like to speak. But I don't follow my plan out of make him confused, because I feel I'm not really solid in my arguments. I need to make him confused. That's I may have a chance to really win. So this kind of people, it's visible, and Buddha encourages us don't be such kind of people. So another, it's when, for example, someone say a good answer or someone tell a good question or anything like this, what actually beat all my arguments. And to not admitting it, I tell something, oh, it's a very good question, very good answer. Where you learn this kind of answer? So, again, my intention is here to hide my loose, you know. Okay, and the last type of people in this section is people who don't follow the proper procedure. Like, for example, we all come here to collect some dana as a monks, yeah, and we come and sit and give some Adumodana chanting or something like this. And if someone in this occasion come and ask, "Oh, Bhante, please, can you explain dependent origination to me?" Or some difficult question ask, like, it's just not proper time for ask this kind of questions. So again, like Buddha encouraged us to know the proper time when we need to speak, when we need to be silent and listen. Also, the people who try to discourage other person or mock him or get fun of him from evil intention or find the faults. Like we see a lot of examples when people speak, they not really try to find out the truth, find out something beneficial, inspiring, but they see for faults. And really, when they see, I mean, it's easy to find faults when you want to find faults. It's just very simple. And when the person sees the faults, he just take it and use it as like to bring person down. So don't really care what person speaks, try to understand the meaning, but just find the faults. So this is also kind of people what unsuitable for speak, unsuitable for association. And yeah, and the last category, maybe people who don't actually answer or don't follow the topic what they've been asked. And again, commentary gives some example that some senior monks ask a junior monk, like, "Friend, we heard that you made some offense, you made some mistake. Please explain us what was happening in that situation." And he say, "Oh yes, Bhante, I was in that big city and there was a so beautiful city and there is a lot of trees, a lot of beautiful gardens." And they ask him, "Friends, we don't ask you about where you was and like how it's beautiful. Please tell us about your offense." And he said, "Oh, Bhante, you know, when I was there, I ate some fish, and fish was very bad. I feel some indigestions." And they ask, "Friends, we don't ask you about your digestions. We ask about your offense." So and so on. So this kind of evasive speech or speech totally irrelevant to the topic, it's also an improper behavior in terms of right speech. And interesting, like in the end of the sutta, Buddha asks, like, what is the reason and what is the purpose of any conversation, any speech, any like advices or any interaction between people? He asks, like, what is the purpose? And from his point of view, the purpose is to help us to attain the final goal, to help us to be close to Nibbana, to help us to get some inspiration, get some motivation, to try to practice. This is a benefit of noble friendship and to association with teacher, with knowledgeable people, that we can get some inspiration. And if we always keep this goal in mind, if we think, okay, now I interact with people, now I speak with you, for example, for the purpose of deeply understand the Dhamma, what may help me or help you to be a little bit close to Nibbana, to a little bit close to our goal, to become a better person, to become more pure, more honest. Then, if I keep this goal in mind, I would not follow in all these kind of categories. I would not be evasive, I would not be harmful for other people, and so on, what we discussed. Because it does not support my goal. It's not helpful for my personal attainment or other personal attainment of liberation, of purity of the mind. So I think, and I wish all of us to be really goal-oriented people, to remember why we do this, why we like do some dana, why we follow morality, why we do some right speech or right action. To always remember, like, what's our goal, and to check all activity, like, is it helpful for my goal or not? Like, any activity, I think, need to be checked in this respect. So, and again, I wish all of us to remember of our goal.